It's fucking here. I'll just start there. Fuck. And then what do we do? Oh, well, it's going. And we want, slideshow. Right. Really fucking boring. Right, over the slideshow, I think I am becoming a New Zealander. Letters of J.C. Beaglehole. Chosen and edited by Tim Beaglehole. I do hope I'm saying it properly. Look at those trans. J.C. Beaglehole, historian and Cock scholar, was also a passionate writer of letters. He wrote frequently at length and throughout his life to family, friends and colleagues, wittily, affectionately, intimately, eruditely, cerbically, and always with an eye to style, and left a large and rich correspondence. This selection, made by his son and biographer, has been chosen to reflect the range of J.C. Beaglehole's associations and interests in history, particularly his scholarly field at Cock in the Pacific, in music, art and architecture, typography and publishing, and friendship, and to showcase his epistolary virtuosity. Writing was J.C. Beaglehole's preferred mode of expression, and his letters, conversational and crafted in equal measure, are a unique window on the mind and character of the author. They offer, in his son's words, the most boring shit that's ever been written. No, actually, that's not what he said. A self-portrait of a remarkably gifted, imaginative and scholarly bitch. This volume is a rich and engaging companion to Tim Beaglehole's fine biography, The Life of J.C. Beaglehole. New Zealand Scholar, 2006. I think I am becoming a New Zealander. Letters of J.C. Beaglehole. J.C. Beaglehole, painted by his uncle, George Butler, July 1929. I think I am becoming a New Zealander. The Letters of J.C. Beaglehole, chosen and edited by Tim Beaglehole. Victoria University Press. Victoria University Press, Victoria University of Wellington, PO Box 600 Wellington, vup.victoria.ac.nz. Copyright Tim Beaglehole, 2013, first published 2013. This book is copyright, apart from any fair dealing for the purpose of private study, research, criticism or review, as permitted under the Copyright Act. No part may be reproduced by any process without the permission of the publishers. Although fuck. Right, moving on. Acknowledgements. Most of this was horrendously boring. Over 40 years ago, very soon after my father died, R.M. Dick Campbell wrote to me, I am not a dick. How dare you fucking take you to court, you cunts. Don't you dare fucking call me a dick. Unbelievable. Oh, sorry, no, I am a dick. Oh, it's somebody else. And then, no, they're not calling me a dick. It looks like this Campbell has a penis. Oh no, now I'm understanding. Dick Campbell wrote to me, sending me copies of the letters he had received from John. Who the fuck is that? John who? John. Who could this John be? And urged me to bring out a volume of his letters, a hefty but splendidly worthwhile task. Campbell, who's obviously a dick, Dick Campbell, added that he hoped the doubtless need to cut out names wouldn't do us, i.e. prospective readers, out of the entertaining barbed bits. Period. There perhaps lies the seed from which the present volume grew. Without the passage of time, the need to cut out names has virtually disappeared, and those to whom the entertaining barbed bits would have given particular pleasure. Campbell, the Dick, and his contemporaries are sadly all gone. No, that's fine. I don't mind if Dick Campbell dies. One less fucking penis to worry about. A little later, Kathleen McKay returned to the family these sparkling letters John wrote to her, and I have no idea who this John is. Oh, it could be John Campbell, because he's a dick. Oh no, that must be what it is. John Campbell is a dick. Carefully saved, as I came to recognise, was characteristic of many of his correspondence. So this book is about John Campbell, who's a dick. There, perhaps, lies the seed from which the present volume grew. With the passage of time, the need to cut out names has virtually disappeared, and those to whom the entertaining barbed bits would have given particular pleasure, Campbell and his contemporaries, are sadly all gone. A little later, Kathleen McKay returned to the family the sparkling letters John wrote to her, carefully served, as I came to recognise, was characteristic of many of his correspondence. In writing John's biography, I drew heavily on his letters, and I am happy to record again my gratitude to the libraries and friends who made these available to me. The Alexander Turnbull Library already holds a number of boxes of papers from John's study, given to the library after his death. A considerable amount more, including a large number of letters to members of his family and a few carbon copies of letters to other correspondents, remained in the family's keeping. And I can't be bothered doing that. Blah, blah, fucking blah. Introduction. As I worked on the biography of my father, A Life of J.C. Beaglehole, New Zealand scholar, my admiration for him as a letter writer steadily increased. My readers seemed to take the same view. What a brilliant letter writer he was. One of them, he wrote to me, "Everything you quote dances off the page." One of New Zealand's finest writers of prose, John had, from an early age, seen himself as a writer. The historian came later, and during his student days at Victoria University College, he was already displaying literary ability, quite out of the ordinary. His prolific writing in the student magazine The Spike, which he edited for 3 years, 1922 to 1924, revealed both the range and zest of his interests. The wit and taste for controversy were perhaps to be expected in such a publication. Less predictable was the match of tone and style with subject, and the seemingly effortless fluency of his pen. His letters were to show the same qualities. In The Life, I suggested that a conscious cultivation of writing skills on John's part, in which he was warmly encouraged by his mother, could well have been explained by the bad stutter which afflicted him from childhood. Remembered by a cousin as shy and gauche with pen in hand, he was transformed into an extrovert and wit. In his late teens, he became close to the Hooper family, and Chalice, the elder daughter, much later remembered him as an almost daily visitor. He came and went. The door was on the latch for him, period. And when he didn't come, he wrote letters, verse, poems streamed from his hand, period. And when he didn't come, he wrote letters, verse, poems streamed from his hand, period, about the day's doings, about books, and very humorously about people. Such a friendship is not unusual. The epistolary element, even at that time, I suspect is. Not many of those letters survive, but one to Chalice's mother, recommending books that she might read, I have largely quoted in the biography. The stutter was almost completely cured during John's time in London, studying for his PhD, but then, in a sense, the die was cast. He was not to be remembered as a great talker, although he could give a captivating formal lecture. It is from his writings that his character most clearly emerges, the letters offering a self-portrait of a remarkably gifted, imaginative and scholarly man. Peter Quennell writes of Byron's letters at their best. They are admirable talk, delivered by a talker of genius, their reckless spontaneity equally characteristic of Byron's conversation, and he draws a contrast between them and the letters of Pope, Gray and Walpole. Deliberate works of art copied out and carefully revised. John, I think, lies somewhere in between. There was for him a deliberation about writing a letter, a consciousness of ink and paper, of setting the text on the page, and of getting the words right. Deliberate works of art, up to a point, but not entirely. He very rarely revised what he wrote and very rarely kept copies. Those who received the letters, however, in many cases saw them as something special and put them away carefully, preserving, if not the spoken word, talk of a variety and fascination that draws one still into John's world. If the letters offer us, as I have suggested, a vivid self-portrait, they inescapably raise the question, how accurate or truthful a portrait is it? It is a question of more importance to the biographer or the historian, using the letters as evidence, than to the general reader, and there are no simple answers. At the very least, the letter writer chooses what to tell and to whom, nor can one generalize about the letters as a whole. John Warthen's comments in his biography of J.D. Lawrence could equally apply to John's letters. Lawrence's letters, remarkably though they so often are only a partial guide to what he was thinking. Letters were creative work, never simply confessions. They were occasions for trying out a language to express feelings, as those feelings were immediately presented to him, and very often he experimented with a language that he reckoned appropriate for the person to whom the letter was being written. But to recognize the extent to which letters can be, and with John, often were a literary artifice, far from diminishing, may well increase our appreciation of the imaginative skill behind them. At the same time, one must not forget that most often the primary purpose of a letter was to convey information or to seek it. The artifice lies in how this was done. John lived towards the end of the great period of letter writing associated with the 19th century reform of the British and Imperial postal system, when the Penny Post Act of 1840, together with the development of railways, led to a phenomenal increase in the number of letters posted. A part of that increase was in business correspondence, but this was matched in private correspondence. Some 14 letters of Charles Cox survive. From the next generation, more than 40,000 letters of Bertrand Russell are being digitized in a project at Macalester University. While hardly in that league, John's output, not least in the length of many of his letters, is impressive. In London for 3 years, 1926 to 1929, as a postgraduate student, he wrote to his parents every 2 weeks. It was the only way to keep in touch. The letters were clearly intended to be shared with the wider family and friends. 81 of these letters survive, and an average length of about 4,000 words. In the 2 years until Elise Holmes joined him in London in June 1928, he wrote fortnightly to her as well. 47 letters of about the same length as those to his parents though one reached about 5,500 words. These two series of letters totalled over 500,000 words. Besides this, a PhD thesis pales almost into insignificance. Letters to other friends in the same period also survive, as do numerous letters to Elsie, often short when she was in England, but travelling away from London. John was but one among many young New Zealanders who have written home to report on experience, though for too many it was the experience of war. What I suspect was less common was the way letter writing continued as an integral part of his life. 15 minutes, Christ, fuck Jesus. Oh, fuck, it's getting hot. Oh no, fucking keep going, jeez. And so far there hasn't been any gay porn. We're waiting for the gay porn. I wonder what this is about. Fuck. The stories of other worlds. Stories of Other Worlds, Penguin Active Reading, Level 2, 600 Headwords, Elementary. Oh, fucking cunt, I can't stand this fucking chair. H.G. Wells, British English classic. A mountain climber high in the Andes falls into a strange valley. In London, a man is looking for a green door. A third man tries to help an unhappy ghost. Each of these exciting stories shows us two very different worlds, but which is better, and can we really be happier in another world? Number of words excluding activities, 8,780. Series editors Jocelyn Potter and Andy Hopkins. For correlations to English language teaching exams, please visit www.penguinreaders.com. Penguin Active Reading provides reading and language learning at 5 levels through full colour, beautifully illustrated readers, as well as enjoyable stories and texts. Each book provides a range of integrated activities designed to develop reading skills and consolidate vocabulary, and offers personalised project work. Each book is supported by an interactive CD-ROM, which contains additional activities and the complete audio recording. Easy Starts 200 Headwords, Level 1 300 Headwords, Level 2 600 Headwords, Level 3 1200 Headwords, Level 4 1700 Headwords. And then after that, Level 1 300 Headwords Beginner, Level 2 600 Headwords Elementary, Level 3 1200 Headwords Pre-Intermediate, Level 4 1700 Headwords Intermediate. Colour of it's cover illustration by Adam Hunter Peck. Pearson Longman, www.penguinreaders.com. Stories of Other Worlds. Oh wow, and there's a CD, but I can't play a CD. And it's falling out. Oh dear, oh my. Peace. Stories of Other Worlds, Level 2, retold by Annette Keane, series editor Andy Hopkins and Jocelyn Potter. Oh fuck, I wonder. Oh, I think I should probably stop. Fuck.